I was driving through a nearby city when I passed some dumpsters and saw this mower sitting next to them, so I stopped to check it out. It wasn't missing anything and it was in good condition. I was really puzzled as to why someone would throw it away. I didn't want to hang around too long, so I quickly loaded up the mower and drove home. Unfortunately, if you saw the shorts video on this mower, you'll know that I was shocked to find out it had a really nasty surprise waiting for me. In today's project, we look at this snapper mower and the problem is that we don't know if it runs. Now, I'm not sure why someone would throw it away, and I've seen mowers left by dumpsters before, but it was very obvious then why they were there. But this one, I'm going to have to thoroughly inspect to satisfy my curiosity. Now, I'm going to try and repair this mower, however, it may not be the exact repair you need to make to yours. We'll explore other options later in the video. Now, we're only going to mention what these other options could be. We don't have enough time to look into them, but if you need more information on these options, you're welcome to ask as many questions as you need to. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this mower is in really good condition. Most often I find them covered in grass clippings, if not dirt and some oil, so to find one in this condition is special in my book. There are no obvious holes in the engine, nor do I see any signs of a fuel leak. From what I can tell by looking at all the labels, this mower is a 2017 model, which makes it around 5 years old, but you couldn't tell it's that old by how it looks. If I had to guess how old it was, I'd say it was 2 years old with very little use. The reason I'm saying that number is the lack of scuffing on the mowing deck and how good the paint looks. Now, the biggest giveaway as to how old this thing is the air filter. It appears to be the original one because of the markings on it and just how much buildup there is in the pleats. Believe it or not, this does not need to be replaced, it just needs to be cleaned. Now, replacing it though would save you the task of trying to get the dirt out of the pleats. The safest way would be to use a vacuum source to collect the dirt because using compressed air would just make a huge mess. Now, looking inside the fuel tank, I can see that there's no standing gasoline in there, but it is damp, so there might be some fuel in the carb and the line. That's a good sign because it could mean it might have been running when it stopped working. The next thing I want to do is to see if there's any oil in the engine, and if there is none, it would make sense because it would have locked up due to the lack of oil lubrication. Also, remember to wipe the dipstick clean first and then reinsert it into the engine to get an accurate reading. So it looks like there's oil in the engine, which is kind of confusing. It also appears to be right at the full mark, and the color looks almost brand new. Unless they added the oil after the engine stopped, it doesn't appear to have stopped due to a no oil condition. Unfortunately, this makes the situation even more puzzling. If the engine didn't lock up because it didn't have any oil in it, what else could cause it to lock up? Another option as to why this engine would appear to be locked up is if it was hydro-locked with oil or even gasoline from a leaking carb. Now, I was planning to take out the spark plug to confirm this, but I have seen stuff stuck in the blade like a large stick that would cause the same issue. After laying the mower on its right side, I can see that it's fairly clean with some grass clippings only stuck to the inner part of the mowing deck. I wonder if the previous owner was using the washboard to clean the deck. Now, that's beside the point, and I hate to say it though, but I don't see any sticks or branches stuck under here that would keep the blade from spinning. However, I finally see something that would explain all of our symptoms. It looks like something hit the side of the mowing deck, and it's bad enough that the blade is making contact with the deck. Just to prove my point, more than likely the engine isn't stuck because I should be able to turn it backwards, which as you can see, I can, but it promptly hits the deck when I move the blade in the correct direction. Now, I don't know what hit the mower and made this dent, but I think I can fix it by pushing out the dent. The first thing I want to do is to get more room by taking off the blade. My plan was to use this bottle jack to push the dent out, but the jack is so big it's going to be tough to use. It also has to brace against the other side of the mowing deck, but as you can see, it really doesn't want to stay in place. The bottle jack is still hitting the blade adapter and the plastic guard for the belt, so they both gotta go. The only other issue is that the ram isn't long enough to reach the other side. To make up for the difference, I was planning on using a piece of 2x4, but it still didn't help. I really should have used a piece of tube to make up for the difference, but I didn't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be. So this is when I decided to get aggressive with this repair. Now, you're not supposed to tip the mower on its left side because of the possibility of fuel and oil leaking out of the engine, but I only need it to be on its left side for a few minutes. Now, the metal on the mowing deck isn't very thick, but I think I'm still going to use my 4-pound hammer on it. A couple of sharp blows should fix the situation. I just have to be careful not to hit the crankshaft. To be completely honest, that was really stress relieving. Before I keep swinging at it, I'm going to replace the blade adapter and the blade to see if it now clears the dent. If it doesn't, I'll give it a few more swings, but it looks like the blade now clears it, so I'll consider it a successful repair. Next, I'm going to put everything back on the mower and then see how much fuel I spilled out of the carb. When replacing the belt cover, the belt has a tendency to get in the way of the cover. To make it easier to install, try having someone squeeze the self-propel handle. This will put tension on the belt and make it easier to install the cover. Now, this would probably be a great time to try and clean the underside of the mowing deck. However, I want to confirm that the engine works before putting any extra time into it. After getting the mower back on its wheels, it's very obvious that it was leaking quite a bit of fuel out of the carb. I'll have to leave this air filter somewhere to dry before I try to clean it. Now, after looking at the blade, it looks like it's in really good condition. It's not sharp, but the edge is still there. It hasn't rounded just yet. The other end of the blade is the same. However, you can see the corner where it hit the mowing deck. Now, the damage to the blade is minor and also to the deck as well, so I don't think the damage happened when it was running, but when it was in storage. While the blade is off, I'll sharpen it and then I'll reinstall it. While the mower is on its right side, you can see just how many times I hit the mowing deck. It's not pretty, but it did a real good job of pushing out the dent. From the side profile, you can see just how much better it looks when compared to what it looked like before. This is one of the few times I'm happy the mowing deck wasn't as thick as it could be. With the mower back on its wheels, I can finally test to see if the engine will make a complete revolution. As you can see, I'm now able to pull the rope all the way back to its anchor. Once the anchor is tight, we'll then try and start it. So unfortunately it didn't start, but I'm not too concerned just yet. I think I lost most of the fuel from the carb when I had the mower on the wrong side, so I'll add several ounces to the tank and then we'll try starting it again. So unfortunately, it still didn't start. Now, if you saw my last video from my other channel, you should know what I'm about to do to try to get it started. I'm going to manually prime the engine, and this might be enough to coax the carb to start working again. Fortunately, since it started and kept running, that means the carb was working to deliver fuel to the engine, but I need to confirm that the engine will start on its own without having to be primed. The engine only ran for 10 seconds, so it should still be cold. So it looks like we were able to get the carb working again and without having to take it apart for once. Now the self-propel seems to be working too, and that means we're able to get this mower running again with little more than a great big hammer. I don't normally use such crude methods to fix a mower, but it was quite satisfying to take a couple of swings at it though. Overall, I'm very satisfied with this repair. It was relatively quick and simple. The best part was that we fixed it with no money or parts involved. I did eventually use a shop vac to clean out the air filter, and it came out better than expected, although I would like to replace it in the near future. So my question is, would you have used the hammer like I did, or would you have insisted on using the bottle jack instead? Personally, I would use whatever is the easiest to do, and the big hammer certainly fit the bill. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.